Today is the first day of June, and we are going to start a little bit of the build series for this car. A little backstory: I purchased my first Cobalt in 2015, and I just sold it yesterday, and we are moving on to this car. Main reason I got it was it had a blown up engine, and I've always really loved this color, Imperial Blue Metallic, and it looked pretty clean in the pictures. It was in Nebraska, and I was appealed, or it appealed to me, and went out and looked at it, and I was pretty happy with what I saw, so I bought it. I guess I can walk over to what happened. The car had an LHU swapped engine, complete engine, and turbo, everything, and it saw the block in half. It looked like from the head that there was some detonation, and it also looked like that one of the spark plugs was looser than the other ones. There was a lot of carbon or soot around the spark plug boot. So I don't really know what happened, but you could definitely tell it was low miles. Everything else looked really perfect. All the bearings, the head, the turbo. I mean, I would guess the engine probably had less than 10,000 miles. So it was a bummer that it blew up, but it was a young kid that had it, and he was just looking to sell it, didn't really have the time or the money to fix it. So I decided to buy it. Right now, I have it all, obviously I have it all apart. There's nothing in the engine bay, and we are working on getting the body finished up. It was really pretty good from the start, so I just decided to go the rest of the way and get it to where I want it, which is proving to be more difficult or more expensive than I was initially anticipating. The big thing was there was some damage right here. Someone kind of caught something, so this whole panel was painted, and I don't know how well you'll be able to pick it up, but the color doesn't match very well, and it's a bit of a bummer because I want it to be perfect. If I'm going to spend the money on making it, repainting it, having someone repaint it, and taking the time to do it, I want it perfect. But it's kind of strange because it matches the trunk about perfectly, and it matches the top of the door really well and the roof, but it doesn't match the lower section of the door. So we're in process of getting that taken care of. I also had the bumper all resprayed. The car did not have a front lip on it, so I purchased one for that, and that was painted. It also had license plate holes. I wanted those covered up because I think they look atrocious, and I don't want a front plate. So the front bumper was resprayed, and then the lip obviously, and then all the dents. There was probably, I think, 6 or 8 dents on it, and I don't know if you can see, it's kind of covered in dust, but there's quite a few rock chips on the hood. I'm debating on getting that resprayed, and then it needs blended into the quarters, and it's just a slippery slope, and it's hard for me not to want it perfect. Also, I have the wing off. There was some kind of at the base, there was some kind of peeling that I want fixed. I will do that one because that one's not that expensive. And the rear bumper is actually in really, really good condition, so I'm happy with that. So that is body-wise what we're doing. Also, the wheels are also in abnormally good condition for the style. I mean, they're pretty popular. A lot of people like them, so they get sold pretty often, but as you can see, they're really easy to curb, get close to, and there's a little rash on the right rear one. Other than that, they're really nice. So I'm happy about that. Interior, the car has 136,000 miles on it. Interior is not bad. Not as good as my other car, but it's not bad. I can work with it. I'm also planning on getting these trim pieces painted to match the exterior. I think I'm going to do that one myself. I haven't fully decided. It's kind of just something that I want to do. I don't really necessarily need to. So yeah, door panels are off. I have the dash all apart. It's had half of a stereo in it. Like the amp was gone. The stock one's still there, but had another amplifier in the trunk, and the sub was gone. And the door speakers were still there, but it's just an aftermarket head unit. Not a huge fan of that setup. I had a really nice setup in my previous car that I actually ended up taking out. So that's what I'm going to reinstall. It's just a quality parts, quality wiring, everything else about the system, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't really expect to like it as much as I did, because when I bought the car, it was like cool to have a nice stereo, but I wasn't really necessarily looking for a car with one. But after having it for 4 years, I was very happy to have it, and I wanted to keep it, so I did. So yes, that's where we're at right now. The plans for the car is going to be maximizing the ZFR 6758 turbo that was in my previous car. It was also on E85, but this one will have a built engine, so Y-scope pistons and Molnar rods. It'll also have a ported head, and then still be on E85, so Opal injectors, LT1 high pressure fuel pump, and obviously all the bolt-ons, exhaust, intercooler, intake, and I think that's about it for now. But ideally, I want close to 500 wheel. It'll be pushing the 6758 for that. I'm not opposed to getting the 7163. I'm going to stay with the ZFR. I don't really want to change the charge pipe setup, or the manifold, or the downpipe, or all that other stuff. Adding boost control if I need to. I know I can get more power. I don't really want any more. The black car was at 435 wheel horsepower and 400 foot-pounds torque. That was enough for me. It was plenty fun. I mean, I had enough traction issues as it was. So that is the powertrain. So transmission, I am doing a 6-speed F40 swap for Regal. The kit is from B3 Design. I wanted to get the best one out there. There's a couple of guys that make them, but Jason has the most complete kit out there. It includes all the mounts, billet mounts, obviously a clutch, and the trans, and a drive shaft shop, driver's axle, everything I need for the swap. And I had a previous transmission that I thought I spent good money on, and thinking I was going to be happy with it, and I wasn't. And that was a deal. But we're moving on and going straight to the 6-speed. And then suspension is another big thing. My other car was on BC Racing coils. Not a huge fan. I probably wouldn't buy them again. So I just decided to go all out and do Koni's in front. So the Koni sport struts installed in the stock housings, and along with John Powell YYZ springs, front and rear obviously, and then the rear will have Bilstein shocks, B6 series, and then I also have a Powell rear sway bar, and then more than likely I'll be doing OTTP leading and trailing control arm bushings. I like to get the Powells, but they're 30-40% more money at this point. I don't know if they're necessarily worth it at that point, but if I don't decide to get Powells, I'll get OTTPs. From there, OEM brakes. I need to do brakes. I don't know. Obviously the rotors are junk. The pads, I don't know what the condition is. They're getting down there. So I wanted to get the ZZP 14.5 inch larger Brembos. Not really anything that the car needs. It's purely just for the looks. And if these rotors and pads need replaced, I might as well just go for it, but they're really expensive. So that's kind of up in the air. Rear brakes for sure. Rotors and pads, maybe calipers. Just get it done. I like to do things all at once and do it right the first time, but there's a point to where I could be doing stuff later this year. I mean, almost half of the driving season's over. So, I don't know. I can be impatient sometimes. But it's also a lot of fun. I am using my retrofits that from my previous car for headlights and then Adrian taillights. I also kept that for this car, so I'll have the light setup that I really enjoy. I think that is about it for the car. So let's see, stereo for the interior, he's cleaned up, but I like it for the most part stock. And then talked about powertrain, and then whatever rest of the body that I decide to do. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there, how the door doesn't match very well. It's one of those things where I could just about do anything I want to this car, but body is one of those things where A, I don't have the skill set to meet my expectations, and B, I have to worry about enough time doing all mechanical stuff, and the body just, I don't have the patience for, and the area to do it that's sanitary and dust free and all that stuff. Oh, and tires, they all four need replaced. I'm going to keep these wheels for now. I like them. Obviously, if I get the bigger brake setup, I won't be able to use anything smaller than 18s. I don't really plan on drag racing with this car, but it's also going to need a pretty serious tire in the front. I had Toyo R888s on my previous car, and they were good for a season, and they didn't last much after that. So we'll kind of see. I might try the R888Rs. I'm probably going to get the Indy 500s. They have pretty good reviews and a relatively affordable tire. I've got a friend that has Federal 595 RSRRs that I wouldn't mind trying as well. Pretty affordable tire for the front. So we'll kind of see. I also have some, I believe they're LSJ wheels, but maybe they're the sport wheels, 17s with drag radials that fit on here. But those tires need replaced too, and I don't know if they really work that well on the street anyway. So that's where we're at for tires, brakes, powertrain, interior. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do some updates. I would like to do how-tos, but that's really time consuming, and I'm kind of at a time constraint because I'll be moving in about a month, and I have the means and the facility to do it here, not only at my house but also at my job. So I'd like to take advantage of that as much as I can. Big things will be just to get the engine assembled together, and I should have my trans hopefully. The only holdup on the transmission is the drive shaft at this point, which he's being impatient about, and I'm just, I don't really need it yet, so I'm okay, but that could put a hiccup on it. I haven't heard back from my springs yet from Powell, because I guess they're out of stock, and then the company that manufactures them is behind schedule. I don't really know, but basically I don't know when I'll see those. I haven't heard anything about my conies yet for the front, and then my ported head getting done by Josh, and that's gonna take a little time too. I gave it to him about 2 weeks ago, and he said probably at least 3. So that one will be also a little bit of wait. So I should be able to have my short block, and I already have my pistons and rods. I should be able to put that together and have that ready, and then maybe I'll have my transmission here, and then the drive shaft will just be what it'll be, and I can get it on the subframe and get it in the car. I would really like to put the head on and put the timing together before I put it in the car. It's just a lot easier. But we'll just see. We'll see. So, try to take you along for the ride. And let me know what you think. It's not really a super common thing on my channel. A lot of people like Army trucks, which I should more than likely be having more stuff coming later this summer, which will be awesome. So maybe we'll make a different channel for this car, or just for my automotive stuff in general, because car's not the only project I have. I also have that truck, and then I also have Silverado Quadra that I'm going to be putting in a Duramax at some point. It'll be a while now that I'm doing all this work to this car, but I will always be doing something to the vehicles. If there are people that want to watch this car, I would appreciate it if you share it or whatever. Enjoy it. Let me know what you want to see. If you want to see me assemble stuff, if you want me to just see me talk about it, give you updates, or if you want whatever you think. I appreciate it, and I look forward to getting a lot of work done on the car, and hopefully you guys are along for the ride. Thanks for watching.